This is not how I imagined my first speech in the House of Representatives or my first week to be in Washington. The violence that occurred in this building yesterday is reprehensible and inexcusable. I am appalled by anyone who assaults our nation's law enforcement officers. I swore an oath on Sunday to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. We are here today, delayed but not detoured, to debate a constitutional question and follow a constitutional process. The Constitution gives state legislators, not state executives or judges, the sole authority to determine how their state selects presidential electors. Nobody disputes that in Pennsylvania, as well as in other states, rules and regulations were changed by executive fiat or judicial edict. These changes were significant and irregular. They included changes to vote-by-mail deadlines, identity verification requirements, and other ballot handling practices. In Pennsylvania specifically, the Democrat Secretary of the Commonwealth and the Democrat-controlled Pennsylvania Supreme Court usurped the constitutional authority of the state legislature. Together, they exceeded their authority by extending the deadline for absentee ballots and by waiving signature requirements for those ballots. In their haste to make these changes, the Secretary and the court created two different unequal standards for voters. Pennsylvanians who chose to vote in person still had to have their signatures verified at their polling place, but those who chose to vote by mail did not. How is this process fair? This objection is about Pennsylvania, but it affects every state. As a state representative of New Mexico, Pennsylvania's unconstitutional actions disenfranchised my constituents and the constituents of my colleagues. It is my duty to give my constituents a voice. Signing these objections raises their concerns to the fullest extent my office allows. I again condemn in strongest terms the violence that took place here yesterday. We have many issues to solve, including reforms to restore all Americans' faith in the fairness of our elections. I look forward to those serious, civil, and peaceful debates. And Madam Speaker, I yield the balance of my time to the gentleman from South Carolina.
Thank the gentlelady. This process we're going through today isn't about personalities. This isn't about Joe Biden or Donald Trump. As hard as some try to paint it that way, let me say the names and personalities don't matter. This is gravely about the Constitution of the United States. Almost 20 years ago, after the attacks on 9/11, Americans were persuaded to give up some of their constitutional liberties. Using the justification of that global crisis, the terrorist attacks on that fateful day, America saw the erosion of their liberties for the safety and security which many felt they may receive through the USA Patriot Act and other resulting processes too many felt would keep us safe from another attack here on our shore. This year, using the justification of the global pandemic, COVID-19, we're once again saw our nation's Constitution violated. You see, the Constitution is clear in Article 2, Madam Speaker, that the power and duty to set the manner of national elections rests solely with the state legislatures. That power doesn't rest with us. That power doesn't rest in the hands of unelected county election officials, secretaries of state, or Supreme Courts, but rather in the hands of the state legislatures which pass laws setting the manner of elections held in their states. This year, using the extraordinary circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic, we witnessed these duly passed laws circumvented and usurped time and again, not by having the laws changed in the respective state legislative bodies, but those laws arbitrarily and unilaterally changed by county clerks, secretaries of state, and in this case, in Pennsylvania, an unelected or an elected Supreme Court, which is supposed to interpret the law, not make law. And when those non-legislative entities change the laws without getting the General Assemblies to change the law, in my opinion, the resulting ballots cast, either by mail or in person, those ballots were illegal under the law. Illegal ballots should not be counted, and therefore the resulting electoral votes should be considered invalid. What bothers me is that so many of you are okay with that. That so many Americans, because their person won, you're okay with the manner in which that victory was gained. It's politics. Look, I get it. But we didn't swear an oath to play politics. We swore an oath to the United States Constitution. As George Washington said, the Constitution is the guide which I will never abandon. I yield back.